Hey ladies, I'm in bed, but I have to vlog. Good thing I have a tripod. I'm so close to my face right now. Okay, so at work today, I read 92 pages of The Unwomanly Face of War, which, I don't know if you guys knew this, but World War II, kind of lame as fuck. Especially for women. This just makes me sad. It's just like bummer all around. And it's like, it's mostly like the beginning parts where it's like all of these women just want to fight for their country. It's like this the military propaganda, you know. It's not just the men who fall for it. It's also the women, because it feels they also believe it is their duty to protect the motherland or whatever. And imagine, I couldn't imagine ever feeling that way. And it's just amazing how all of these women felt the same exact way, and how a lot of them were like denied access because they all want to go to the front, and they were like all denied access, and they were just like, yeah, I just hid on this truck, or I like hitched a ride, or I just went there. And like, what? Like, imagine willingly doing that. I can imagine. And there's one chapter in particular that I read today, well, a page, just of one woman's account, where it's like she was talking about, you know, this is gonna make you laugh, but like the one thing that I was excited for after 4 years of being in the war was to have like women's underwear. And she's like, isn't that funny? And then she says, oh, sorry, I'm back. She says, like, to the interviewer, like, why are you crying? Isn't this supposed to be funny? And you you're thinking about how Alexievich is like just sitting there crying, like this is the thing you're most happy, that's what you're happy about. Like, isn't that just depressing? Isn't that just depressing? So it's just like stories like that that are that are cray. And I was like thinking about this today, but the stories that I find most intriguing, I don't know how to word this, but it's like the perspectives of how, not how men talk about men and not how women talk about women. I find the most intriguing are like how men talk about women and how women talk about men. Isn't that just interesting? So you sort of get that perspective. I think she's talking to one man, and it's just interesting how he talks about women, because he's very like, because a lot of them talk about how kind they were to each other in the front, but once the war ended, men did not want to be reminded of the war. So they ignored these people that they grew so close to, because in their minds, women were not the people that they fought alongside. Women are like beautiful or whatever and happy and light or whatever, not how a person turns out to be when they're on the front lines, you know? And just how men or women talk about men and how like these men they fought with just like are totally forgetting about them. And years later, all of a sudden they care and they're like, where were you when we got out of the war? Where were you then? You were along with me in the war, but you're gone. Damn. Damn. So yeah, it's just stuff like that that makes me sad. Um, this is a rough one to read at work, but I'm doing it. So I read 92 pages of this at work, and work was fucking balls. Someone came in at like 5:30 with like 3 boxes of books. But I made it through. Also, happy birthday, Matthew. I almost said your full name, your whole Christian name. But this is the internet, so I can't do that. Happy birthday, Matthew. Love you, B. Okay. Then, oh my god. Okay. Update. Weekly update. So I read, oh god, 3,439 pages this week. That's pretty good. 3,000? God, how many books did I read? Wait. So I read This Is Happiness. Oh my god, I'm forgetting. I read Piranesi. I read Elena Knows. I read Marina. I read Normal People. So I read 5 books this week. Or at least finished 5 books. It's pretty good. And I don't really, I'm not gonna count manga, and like I don't count manga on my Goodreads, so I'm not even gonna count Tokyo Ghoul. That's a whole different beast. But I'll count the pages though. Yay! um, and I would say highlight definitely This Is Happiness. I thought that was a magnificent read, and I was like thinking about it today and how reading it, the inner monologue, the way he talks, it like doesn't even make sense. Like the words that he uses are like you don't use those in like your normal everyday language. Um, and I found that to be so fun. And I think about the way it's written a lot. So highlight. Elena Knows was also a highlight. I was talking about Parkinson's today. Shaking my head. Um, yeah, book club discussion today technically. So I need to put together my thoughts on that again. Paradise was also good, but not as much. I didn't like it as much as This Is Happiness and Elena Knows. Bottom of the fucking list is definitely Normal People. Jesus. And also Marina. See, Marina didn't make me as mad as Normal People did. But yeah. Sorry I'm so close to the camera right now. But yeah. Pretty good reading week. I hope that I can finish Tokyo Ghoul tomorrow. Well, at least the first bit. I hope this week I will finish this guy right here. And then I could spin the wheel again. Wouldn't that be fun, guys? And I also need to start Shadow of the Wind. It's over there. I won't get it. So, I just noticed that the light is coming down. It's like Jesus. Isn't that awesome, guys? Okay, that's basically it. So yeah, sorry my videos are like, they come out when they come out. I don't really have a set schedule, just whenever I do it. So hopefully I will remember to do them this next week. Okay. See you tomorrow.